Hey, welcome back to the studio. Gotta keep busy, can't I? So, now we get to start on our big final project. And I know a few things have changed throughout the semester, especially the way we're working and living right now. The show must go on, and I want to introduce you to kind of the deadlines and the goals that we have here on this assignment and the rubric that I've built out for it. So let's dive right in. Oh, that's totally just coffee. So as you can see here on the assignment page, I've named the series the Parachute Factory Exhibition Project. Now the name will probably change as the semester progresses and we kind of come with a better title, which we'll talk about later. We as the rest of the world will look back on this time period and reflect upon how we reacted and responded to the events of the COVID-19 outbreak, how it affected our economy, our country, and how we saw each other. I am most interested in what we have learned about ourselves and each other. For our final project, we are building an art exhibition on the subject of the world health crisis. This project will be exhibited at the Parachute Factory and will go up for the finals week, or go up for our finals week. The exhibition will be printed and hung in the galleries placed during May, and will also be presented online on their website. The gallery website will exhibit our exhibition showing our work, but they're also going to be hosting the videos of you guys talking about your work. This will allow our exhibition to be seen much more broadly than it would have been if it was just an exhibition only. This is a great opportunity to join in many opportunities, such as like museums around the world, galleries around the world, art centers who are showing their work through virtual walkthroughs. So now we are able to see stuff all over the world, and we're going to join that by having our work presented so that people from all over the world, such as Venice, London, whatever, and Lexington, Kentucky, can see our work. So this is a double opportunity if you think of it that way. So the theme, I am asking you all to create work that pays homage to those who, or what, have made this era of social distancing bearable. This can be images that pay respect to loved ones who've made this journey easier, or to those working in the medical field day and night to save lives. It can have individuals you personally know, or it can shine light on general subject matter that you want to highlight during this economic or societal instability. You can make it personal or general, as you'd like. You can make it abstract, pictorial, or anything in between. I think about this above all when someone walks into the gallery space and sees everyone's videos online, that your voice is added to the conversation. So think of your work in context of everything around it too, not just, think about the gallery, think about the conversation here in Lexington, think about the greater world conversation as well. The exhibit will open up in early May, soon after the installation is completed. You will send me your files that are needed, and I will print them for you. We're going to hang them up with magnets. Let's see here. This is actually people that are in this classroom that are going to be in the show, but I'm also going to include some of the past alumni of this class. There's a handful of people that I've invited to actually show work in here as well. So it's an AS385, 390, like timeless collaboration, if you want to think of it that way. For the online segment, I'm going to have you actually send me a 60-second audio of what you want the video to be. So it can just be you talking about your piece, and I will actually I'll throw it together for you. UK has already said that they're going to actually throw this up on their university, the School of Art is going to actually put this on their social media threads, so Instagram, Facebook, what have you. And as you can see, they have over 2,000 followers. Even there you go, now it's loading. So it's nice that we're actually not just going to be on the Parachute Factory website, we're going to be on their Facebook account, their Instagram account, and who knows what else. So take that into consideration when we're making that audio. The guidelines for the project. This project is broken up into different deadlines to keep us on task. We will have an idea day that to hash out our ideas and give us the ability to get feedback and progress through the work. We are creating at least 2 images by the end of the semester, though you were asked to have the first one done by the mid-critique, the 14th right here. The mid-critique is set to give you some feedback and respond to kind of the progress of your work, and then also ask you what you're doing for the next one and seeing how these 2 pieces fit together. The final deadline is April 28th, where we'll be critiquing the final pieces. After you turn everything in, we're going to have a few other people look at the work. We're going to have the curator of the Parachute Factory and a few of the other faculty in the art department look through the work and pick which ones actually go into the show. And everyone's going to have a piece in the show, of course, but there's more than enough room. We can have a couple pieces in the show. So that's going to be decided who gets 2 or who gets 1 by the general, like I said, the few of the faculty I invite and the curator. So I'm not quite sure if we're going to have 1 or 2 pieces in the show or not. So you may pick your best one, or the curators may pick the best one. So keep that in mind, is that you may want to have more than just 2. If you're hashing through your ideas and you come up with a lot of them, then let's turn them all in, okay? So after that, that's why I don't want you to do your recordings by the deadline, the 60-second audio recordings. I want you to wait until after critique. I'll send an email out saying which pieces were in the show, and then you can do the audio recording about that piece or those 2 pieces or those 3 pieces or who knows what. Okay, because I don't want you to talk about 2 pieces if only one of them is actually on the website or in the show. Okay, so hold off on that. We'll do that a little later. I'm going to have it where actually, if you want to, you can do your own 60-second video if you want that talks about your piece. If you prefer to do it yourself, that's fine. You don't have to. You can just send me the 60-second audio and I'll do it for you. Instead of just talking about the gallery space, why don't we just go down there, okay? So grab your jacket and grab your hat. There you go. Oh, wow. This is nice. So spacious. So here's the space. As you can see, there's plenty of room for everyone's work. And think about like the way your work's gonna fit next to everyone else's work and what you're bringing to the conversation. Not only are you speaking to your fellow students, but you're speaking to all of UK. You're speaking to all the world. They're going to see the whole exhibit outside of this gallery space. So try to be bold. Try to do your best to get your message out there. And again, I'm here to help. But as you can see, hopefully we'll get to come to the gallery space ourselves later in mid-May. So let's head back to the studio, finish up our conversation. So here's some of the details, and this just goes over the layout, kind of like what's due, when it's due, what exactly is due. So 2 images is going to be what's required for the entire rest of the semester, though obviously more is encouraged, especially if you decide to do abstract, where you're just really hashing through some of the tools and changing things on a, like, how some of the assignment we did just previously, you can easily kind of alter things pretty quickly. Save so many different versions. Please bring those to critique, because then if you're not sure which one you like more, we can help you with that. Easily you can have up to like 10, 12 different versions that you're not sure about. Maybe you don't bring all 12 of those. Maybe you put them in a subfolder in the critique folder, but then we can help you with that. So I really encourage you to turn in more than just the 2 required. As you can imagine, with the weeks we have, you have plenty of time to kind of hash through them. I do have a print requirement, though I'm going to be pretty open about it, but I don't want anything to be smaller than 20 inches on its shortest side. So make these files big, because this is a big gallery space and we need to fill those walls. So 20 inches is not small on the, that's what I'm asking you to make it on the short side. So it can be 20 by 20 if you want it square, 20 by 24, 20 by 40. If you go humongous, like 20 by 60, please talk to me first, because I don't know if we have that kind of paper. I may scale yours down just a hair, but again, that's what you're going to talk to me about. Now, if you want to go bigger, like I just said, 36 inches, 44 inches, something like that, let me know. I just got to make sure we have enough paper and we can print the size you're asking for. Okay, but again, I'm going to be pretty open about that. I just need you to communicate with me, okay? This also means you don't want to be scaling down your work. If you start with an 8.5 by 11 page or a 12 by 16 page and you start scaling down your files to fit that window, then right then you're not going to have a very high res picture. So kind of keep your files your original resolution, kind of work up instead of work down, so that these can go big, okay? Idea Day is next week, April 7th. You're required to start shooting, start sketching, start researching styles you like, just like have tons of information that you want to kind of, when you want to get done by mid-critique, and presumably continue that project to the final critique. So this is kind of this is the time to get your roadmap of what you want to do for the rest of the projects between now and next week. So on Idea Day, next class, I'm going to have you just turn in whatever it is you're looking at, whatever it is you're sketching, you're drawing, you're doodling, you're inspired by, the subject matter. If it's a document just talking about things, whatever. I expect everyone to throw in a handful of random files that discuss what their idea is. Now, you can even start. If if you want to. You can even start producing pieces or rough drafts. That's great if you do that. So keep that in mind as from now on. That's what you need to be thinking about. I've already made the link to where you put it. Just make sure you put a little subfolder in there for yourself with your last name so that when you go there, it's your folder and then your work in there. So then everyone's isn't mixed up, okay? April 14th is the mid critique. That's where you have to have one of your pieces finished, okay? So I've really chopped this up so that the whole semester is pretty evenly spaced out, actually. You have almost equal amount of time to do both pieces. And this is why, like I said, if you're kind of on a roll and you're producing a bunch of different versions of it, you'll hammer out way more than that. So here's the deadline for that first piece, and literally a week later is the final deadline, the 28th. Okay, so I haven't put the link there just because I don't want to throw too many links your way. I'll wait till we get a little closer to April 28th to throw the final one up there. And then after you turn it in, that's when all, like I said, the other invited faculty and the curator are invited in to actually look at the work and kind of start picking through it, okay? And here's where you'll have the recordings I want you to send them to right here. Don't need it up yet because we need that much later at the end of April. So here's kind of where we're at. These are things that are ever growing here. We haven't named the show yet. We need a title for the show. These are some random ideas that I came up with. I'm not sure how I feel about them, but shelter in place, shelter in peace, academic versus pandemic, self-isolation, retaliation. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear them and just email them to me, okay? And it could be anything you want. And I'm going to also get some advice from the other faculty about like, what's a really good name for this? What's really timely? Something that's going to be plastered all over the social media pages and maybe hopefully, flyers from when people can physically come see the show. Things to make the work about. And again, these are just random ideas. It can be anything you want that's related to this whole atmosphere. But these were just things that popped up in my head if I was going to do the show, which is do the pieces about doctors and nurses, grocery store clerks. And these can be portraits. These can be abstract. These can be a combination of the both. It's really up to you. An abstract piece about COVID-19 itself, like literally look at some of the X-rays and scans or microscope images that you can find online and start doing work where you're rebuilding it with your own materials. You know what I mean? I don't know. Could be abstract as simple as that if you want. You can do collage work where you're actually going around town and capturing the businesses that are closed down, the signage. Then you take bits and pieces of the signs and kind of build your own sign out of it that responds to all them. Again, I don't know. You can take their lettering, you take their wording. What is kind of helping you through all this? Your escapism. Is it, a book, or is it, whatever? Think about how it's going to fit next to everyone else's work. And you need to convey that this is an escapism, if that's the case. It could be an individual, it could be a thing, it could be a location. Again, you need to explain it to us, and during mid-critique, we'll talk more about that in Idea Day. You feel like something is going to be lost in our community, something that may disappear after this? I don't know. It could be, again, coffee shops. I don't know. It could be certain things that we cherish in our society that are probably going to not, be successful after this. Maybe that's something you want to document, or maybe that's something you want to include, or maybe that's something you want to reflect upon. This is highlighted for a very specific reason because I don't want you to miss it. You can use anything you want. This includes files from archives, images you did not photograph yourself. So I know not everyone is able to shoot portraits or stuff like that. And I don't want you to go steal off websites, and I don't want you to go take AP photographs, pay the 99 cents for a model shoot and just use that. That's not what I mean. But I mean, if you want to make a collage, or you want to make a piece out of a certain archive, like a medical archive, or images of, London being bombed in World War II, and you want to modernize that piece and make something out of that, or include just little bits and pieces of other things that you didn't shoot yourself, that's fine. But the one thing I don't want you to do is if you just want a starry sky and you just grab a picture off the internet of a starry sky and throw that in your piece. No, not that. Because you can go shoot a starry sky. That's not that hard to do. We know how to do that. It's more if there's a very specific material that you just can't photograph right now. Again, it's on the other side of the earth, or it's a part of an archive. It's an old historic image or something, whatever. That's when I want you to use it. So I put that in here. It's there needs to be a reason that you're actually using that archival image, okay? But I want to open that up to you guys. This can be a prediction of what you think the world will be like after this. For the better, for the worse, it could be that. So again, these are random. You don't have to do any of these ideas, or you could totally take one and go to town with it. It's just to get the ball rolling, getting you realize that really it can be anything that reflects on this, okay? So here's the rubric. The whole assignments were 30 points, 30% of the whole semester. That's a pretty heavy percentage. So again, you don't want to forget this assignment. So idea day next week, coming in with good ideas, like what you want to do and hashing through them. So just throwing in like some random pictures of what you're interested in may not cut it. It more be like, think about those images, kind of like, I want to do something like this, but I want to include this, and I want to include that. And I have questions for you guys how to do it, but that's fine. Like kind of get the ball rolling. That's 2 points right there, or 2% of the semester. Mid critique is that first deadline when the first piece is done. Your voice recordings, which are due at the very end, are worth 2 points. If you forget that, then you can't be part of the online show. We have no audio, so you need to just turn in that rough audio. So the final critique will actually be worth 18 points, the majority of it. And this is where if something's missing, you can always redo it, and it comes into here. And like the quality of everything as well. So you don't want to forget the big final one, because that's the make or break one. The audio recordings, if anyone has questions about how to record something that sounds nice, you can see that I'm recording in my studio where the audio is terrible because I have so much traffic right outside my windows, Broadway. Whenever I do recordings like narration or just recording a sound of something for a piece, I go to the very back end of my apartment, and sometimes I'll go like under the sheets where it's literally muffled from my my quilt. And I'll record, something, wood knocking something or whatever it is I'm trying to get. It's pretty quiet back there. So think of it that way. Like you need to kind of make your own little space. Just record your 60-second dialogue. And again, if you want to do your own recording, if you want to do your own video of just your piece for your 60 seconds or whatever, that's fine. Just let me know and I can send you the specs, okay? Like what resolution frames we're using. So everyone's is consistent. So as you can see, we're pretty busy for the rest of the semester, but I want to remind you that you can always reach out to me. I'm always in my studio. It doesn't matter if it's Saturday or Sunday. I'm happy to talk about what you're working on. I'm happy to respond to emails about what you're talking about. I'm happy to throw advice on certain artists that you're interested in that like have some of your emulation that you're going for. Whatever it is you're doing, I'm happy to work with you outside of our designated critiques. In fact, I encourage you to reach out to me if you ever have a question, or send me a screen capture, or Photoshop is giving you a problem with the file. Just send me the screen capture of the layers, or worst case scenario, just upload the whole file and send it my way. So you can do it either way, but I'm here if you need me, okay? So I'll talk to you guys soon.